If we are aware of something and resisting God and not doing it, the bad news is God knows our hearts and he knows we're rebelling. That's why I can't look at you and you can't look at me to decide, is somebody good enough to be saved? Because we don't know how God's dealing with our hearts. Just make sure you're always following everything that God reveals to you. Don't hesitate when you find Bible truth, put it into practice and follow it. Let me just tell you a little story. A friend of mine was a Presbyterian pastor. He discovers the Bible Sabbath while studying his Bible. He studies into it, makes his decision that he's going to start keeping the seventh-day Sabbath. Well, it didn't take long and he was fired. And eventually he became a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, which is where I knew him from. And over the years, when he was talking to me about this, he had been able to be involved in 65 pastors making the switch between Sunday keeping and Sabbath keeping pastors. And he was full of stories, but I love this one. There was a guy on his way home from work. Oh, no, he was working, I guess. On his way home from church, he was a pastor. And he's in Texas, he's driving along, and he sees somebody tearing the shingles off of the house to put on new ones. I don't know if you've ever done it. It's really hard, nasty work, especially in Texas when they start melting while you're working on them. I used to roof for a while in Texas. I'm well aware of what happens on a roof when it's hot. But this guy is working, and he's working away, and the pastor sees him. He stops his car, walks over to the house and looks up and says, "Brother, don't you know you're not supposed to be working on the Lord's Day?" And the guy on the roof says, "How do you know I'm not supposed to be working the day?" The pastor says, "It says in the Bible you're not supposed to be working." The guy on the roof says, "Well, if you can show me from the Bible that I'm not supposed to be working today, I'll quit because I believe what the Bible says." Pastor goes out to his car, grabs his Bible, flips open to Exodus chapter 20, goes to verse 8, Sabbath commandment. And he reads how you nor your son, your manservant, you're not supposed to be working. He reads through that one. The guy in the roof says, "It does say I'm not supposed to be working, doesn't it?" And pastor says, "Yeah, it does." Could you read that to me? I just really need to be certain. Pastor starts reading through it, and he gets to the part about the seventh day. And the guy in the roof says, whoa, just a minute. Didn't that say seventh day? Wasn't that yesterday? Pastor looks at his Bible. He tries looking around other spots around it. Finally looks at the guy on the roof and says, "It does say seventh day, doesn't it?" Did the pastor know where the verse was? I mean, he just went out to Bible card, got his Bible, flipped it open, read it. He knew right where the verse was. It never dawned on him. It just did. Duh, why didn't I ever see that before kind of moment. Guy on the roof scrambles down the ladder and says, "Hey, why don't we go in the house? I'm actually a Sabbath-keeping Christian. I was just playing along to see where this was going to go. Let me go show you some more verses." They go inside, share a bunch of verses, and the pastor says, "I've always trusted Jesus in the Bible, and I'm not going to change now." He says, "I'm going to keep trusting Jesus in the Bible, and I'm changing the day of worship." Do you notice something about this guy? Did what he learned on the Sabbath change his salvation standing with God one bit? No. Before, God was overlooking his ignorance. Boom! He found out something new. He studies it out. And he makes the instant decision, I've always trusted Jesus in the Bible. I'm not changing now. I'm still following Jesus in the Bible. And he goes wherever the Bible leads him. That's the way we should each operate.